Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rabbi's Roundtable. I'm so glad to be doing this. I hope everybody is well and safe. I know we're all a little a little tired of the conditions under which we have to exist, but better safe than the alternative for sure. I have an interesting show, a really good show, and uh, interesting and informative guests, and you'll find them, I think, to be that as well. My first guest is a community leader. She may be familiar to many of you, Nancy Andrew. And Nancy, thank you for being on the Rabbi's Roundtable.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's so lovely to see you. I'm sorry we can't be in person, but this is better than not being together at all.
Absolutely, and we will. Is this your first time on the Rabbi's Roundtable?
No, but oh boy, it's been some years, but
Yeah,
we
that's what I thought. Yes. Anyway, let me just tell the folk about your background. You have over 20 years of experience in nonprofit management and community organizing and volunteer engagement. Nancy previously served as the executive director for Habitat for Humanity Chop Tank and Talbot Mentors, helping both achieve significant organizational, financial, and programmatic growth during her tenure. She is currently working with Talbot County, Maryland. Last year, she served as recovery coordinator, assisting with the county's response to COVID-19, and has recently transitioned into the role of executive director for Talbot County, for Talbot Family Network, the county's local management board. Nancy holds a BA degree in government and politics from the University of Maryland, and we were just talking off camera. She is currently working towards a master's degree in social work, and God bless you. I couldn't go back, as I said. She is she was born and raised in Talbot County. She's a local resident, but a very influential, significant, and visible leader and um, representative, and we are very glad to have you on the Rabbi's Roundtable. Thanks for being here.
thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So let's talk a little bit about Talbot County Vaccine, the equity work group. I think this is important. Obviously, this is timely for sure, given all that's going on. Um, I have just a few questions, and you can expand on them and share with us what you think is important in any way you want. Um, my first question is this. If everyone 16 and older is eligible to be vaccinated now, why is this group needed?
So, it's interesting to see the trajectory of this. Last fall, when I was still serving as recovery coordinator with the county, I feel like we were wringing our hands, worried if people would want the vaccine. And in that role as recovery coordinator, I was working out of the Emergency Operations Center, but obviously very closely in partnership with the health department.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been sharing data with us about across the state of Maryland and in Talbot County, how COVID was disproportionately impacting some of our neighbors, particularly our Black and Brown neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So the beginning of the year, the vaccine became available, which is something we should still marvel at, that our country and the world were able to come together so quickly on that. But the vaccine rollout was confusing for people. In Talbot County, thanks to a lot of hard work from our health department, we continue to remain one of the top vaccinated counties in the state of Maryland. However, we know that is also because our citizens were very persistent about getting vaccinated, because in the first 3 months of the year, the supply wasn't there. It was a confusing rollout process. What the state attempted to do was build this infrastructure, which now that the supply is available, we see the reasoning behind that. But initially, when seniors were first available, and there wasn't a lot of supply, and you had to go to 15 different websites and appointments filled quickly, it was confusing.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. There was an article, maybe it was in the Star Democrat, I don't remember where it was, talking about how our county has really been leading the way and being very good. You know, just as an aside, I was lucky. I got vaccinated early with the hospital chaplaincy. All my colleagues got that early on. Um, but I don't understand, and I realize it's my own naivete and shallowness, but I don't understand why people would argue about this. I mean, I do philosophically and intellectually, but emotionally, why not be safe rather than sorry? But that's a different issue for another program. But the next question that I want to ask is who's involved in the group?
Yeah, so we put this group together again through the Emergency Operations Center and in partnership with the health department to try to reflect those communities where we're concerned that there might be some vaccine hesitancy and where we may have not done the most superb job in communicating. And also just, we need to reach people who may want the vaccine, but they don't have a work schedule that allowed them to, drive up to a mass clinic in Hartford County and get vaccinated.
Right.
We need to partner with as many community agencies, the faith community, to really reach as many of our neighbors as possible. So in addition to the health department and Shore Regional Health being represented, we have members of county government. Chief Smith down in St. Michael's is part of the group. Childine Brooks from Brooklet's Place.
Sure.
Childine from Brooklet's Place. We have representation from the NAACP, Chesapeake Multicultural Resource Center. So that was our first tier. We created this committee of just sort of a small work group. And then we asked our committee members to identify some ambassadors, really thinking about that grassroots, those community members that, when Sally calls, people listen. So our second phase is to bring in a sort of wraparound group of an additional 20 to 24 people, coming from local service organizations, additional congregations, and just people working in addictions. There's so many folks who they're not getting the information as readily as maybe some of the people in that first tier that are vaccinated.
Okay. Well, this is why I wanted you on the show, and I think it's why your presence is really important, so we can, whoever watches, we can get that information out to those folk as well, because it's really important. And I know that if you need, from the faith communities, if you need contact, we can get you in touch with the president of Tackle, Reverend Sue Browning, and that was a topic at our last meeting, as a matter of fact. So just we'll do that off camera.
Well, but tangential to that, Rabbi, Sue has contributed to the group, and she's helped us reach out to the LGBTQ community.
Oh, good.
Folks who may not feel as comfortable going into some healthcare facilities and going into an open clinic, but finding a safe space. And, we're at the point that if we get 10 more people to get a shot, that's 10 more people that help reduce the transmission in our community.
Absolutely. And what another thing you just made me realize is we don't recognize all the groups that are out there. And when you just said the LGBTQ community, I've never even thought about them,
right.
In terms that as a separate, unique grouping. But I guess that's true as well. Mm-hmm. So the more we can reach, the better off everyone is. So
right.
So let me ask you another question. If someone is reluctant to get vaccinated, somebody I know, let's say, what and how can I encourage them to register and get a shot? And actually, I've had people say to me, "You got a shot? I wouldn't get it." I said, "Why wouldn't you get a shot?" And these are people that are intelligent, and I don't know what motivates that, but what do you say to those folk?
Well, I think the first thing you did that was very important there is you asked a question. This isn't necessarily one of those moments. There's an element of education, but this is as much about listening and then also just repeatedly sharing your good story. So someone that you've told you got vaccinated and the experience was fine, the needle wasn't that bad, you maybe didn't feel well for 24 hours, you may never know the influence, the positive influence that has to addressing someone's concerns.
Oh, that's
One of my partners from Chop Tank Community Health has shared with us what they're finding is if someone says categorically, no, I'm not getting it, they're probably not going to get it. But if there are people that have, well, I'm going to wait and see, those are really the folks we want to reach out to now.
okay. Yeah.
Because they've had an opportunity to talk to their friends. It's more readily available. They don't have to, break down doors to get an appointment at this point. The other thing, our friends at BAM held a clinic a couple weeks ago in partnership with the Maryland National Guard's Vaccine Equity Task Force.
Cool.
Chief Smith had suggested that we do a survey at each of our clinics. So BAM was our first partner to implement this survey. And one of the questions we asked was, what motivated you to get vaccinated? So of the 120 some people that were vaccinated that day, 72% said concern for their families. So, when we think about Mother's Day coming,
Yep.
and Father's Day, and everybody wanting to get out on Memorial Day and 4th of July and summer weddings, this is a chance to say, this is what you do to take care of your family.
Yep. That's interesting. As an aside, you mentioned weddings. I did a wedding 2 weeks ago. It was the first wedding I've done in months.
Wow.
And lots of them have been postponed till next year, and I feel sorry for, they had all this stuff and they had to put it off. But this is serious, and people need to take it seriously, and that I think that's an indication of how serious it really is. What else? Anything else we need to know? You think it's going well, and I know that when people have asked me, did I get vaccinated, and I said yes, and they said, how did you feel? I said the only thing was a little pain for one day around the injection site, and I was sleepy, so I slept from Thursday to Friday, and then I got up and went back to do my thing. And, I've tried to assure them or reassure them that, at least from my perspective, it was not a debilitating reality or experience.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track. This is not a time to guilt or shame people.
Right.
It's not a time to try to strong arm people, but continuing to set a positive message about the availability of the vaccine at this point and the after effect. Also letting people, the speed with which the vaccine was developed makes some people nervous. And one of the messages that I've heard in this is helping people understand that the US government prioritized this. So any time where they could put money to buy them time to expedite the process, that's how this happened. So they didn't sacrifice on the rigor of the process. And quite frankly, the pause on the Johnson & Johnson that we've seen 7 people impacted out of over 6 million, I think really does speak to the care that the federal government continues to invest in this.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's really important and good in the long run for all of us. Anything else we need to know? Anything you want us to be doing or thinking about? Anything you want to communicate informationally?
2 points. One, I think just for us to continue to be grateful in Talbot County that this really, since the beginning of COVID-19 and the pandemic, this really has been a community response. It's taken agencies, local government, private citizens, and congregations coming together to weave that social fabric. This has not been a storm that we have all experienced in the same way. Yeah. But our efforts to support one another make a difference. So even at this time, our Talbot County Economic Development and Tourism Department, they're working with local businesses and some of our vaccination partners, Shore Regional Health and Chop Tank Community Health, to even do vaccines clinics at work sites. So trying to really reach people where they are and break down every barrier we can is part of just the wonderful part of living in Talbot County. Let me also give folks some dates.
Sure.
These are all available on the Talbot COVID-19 Facebook page and through the health department. But just to make folks aware, our good friends at the Avalon Foundation have taken all of their work around COVID-19 and turned their annual multicultural festival into a multicultural vaccine and wellness day. So on May 1st with Choptank Community Health, they'll be giving vaccines at Idlewild Park. St. Michael's, the community in St. Michael's, in partnership with Union United Methodist, St. Michael's Community Center, and the Housing Authority, are having a clinic on May 8th, Saturday, May 8th. And then BAM will be having another clinic at their Joe White Street location in Easton on May 15th. There's more to come, but those are just a few examples of how our partnerships are coming together.
Oh, that's terrific. And if there's more to come, let me know. You'll come back on and we will. No, this is easy. And like I said, it's really important. One last question. The issues surrounding Pfizer versus Moderna versus Johnson & Johnson, anything we should be aware of, or is,
Good question. So we'll see today what the federal government decides about Johnson & Johnson. There are some people who are still open to receiving it. The one dose creates a lot of opportunity, just even administering to homebound clients. But for our community to keep aware, Moderna can only be administered to individuals 18 and above. So locally, Shore Regional Health has been administering Pfizer, and some other partners may be getting Pfizer. But for now, if someone is 16 or 17 or has an individual in their household that's 16 or 17, they can visit the Shore Regional Health website to see about getting vaccinated. And Shore Regional is looking to partner with our local school systems as well. Otherwise, they're effective vaccines, and it really just, we've got to continue celebrating that we have them.
Good. Listen, this has been extremely informative and important. Thank you very much for taking the time to be on and to participate. It's, as I said, very important, and we have to do what keeps us safe, keeps us healthy, and what is responsible. So I appreciate, and you will come back. Just let me know when you have more to share with us, and we'll do another segment. We have been talking with Nancy Andrew, and Nancy is, as I said, grew up in our county and is a native, and she has served as director of Habitat for Humanity, Choptank, and she's executive director for Talbot Family Network, the county's local management board. Thank you very much for taking the time to being on the Rabbi's Roundtable and sharing this important information with us. I appreciate it greatly, and so does.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for the light that you continue to be in our community and your members there at the temple as well.
Thanks. We try.
And you do a great job.
Thanks, Nancy. We will be back Easton with our next set of guests.
Did you know? MCTV programming is available online. Find our shows like Rabbi's Roundtable, Carlisle's Chesapeake, The Shameless Picture Show, Conversations with Sherry, and the Avalon Theater Presents at youtube.com/Midshore Community Television.
And we are back, and you are at the Rabbi's Roundtable. We are not coming to you normally as we do from the studios of MCTV in the basement of the Avalon. We are actually outside my office at Temple B'nai Israel, but we are still doing the Rabbi's Roundtable, and I'm told that next month, which I'm very excited about, we will be back and able to be in the studio recording face-to-face and person-to-person, and that makes me really happy. My next set of guests are really dynamic leaders in the community, visible, visionary, creative. It's a pleasure to welcome Tracy Ward and Natalie Slater to the Rabbi's Roundtable from the Easton Economic Development Corporation. Tracy is the director and Natalie is the communications manager for the EEDC. I have had the great privilege of serving on this board. I'm a fish out of water, as I tell Tracy this all the time. It is an incredible group of people that come together, looking at the future and the well-being of our community, and it's directed and led by these two dynamic individuals. So thank you very much for being here at the Rabbi's Roundtable. I'm glad you're here. There's lots to talk about, and we will get to it. But I just wanted people to know who you are and what you do and how you do it. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Peter. It's an honor to be here today.
It is. Thank you very much.
It's my privilege to be able to do this. I know from obviously my attending our meetings, and there's a ton going on, both present and future activities and vision for our area. Tracy, why don't you start and give us a little bit of insight as to what's being planned and how for the downtown and for just Easton in general.
Sure. Well, we had a very big year, obviously, with COVID. Everybody did. Yep. Game changing in so many ways. Mainly what we're seeing is a big influx of visitors to Easton. They're coming from the urban centers. They want to have that small town experience. Maybe they're coming to visit. Maybe they rented a home on the water as a second home. Maybe they picked up and moved here. So we saw a lot of that last year, and it's reflected in our real estate market numbers. If you look at our real estate numbers, our median income, our median cost of house has almost doubled. It's gone up. And so we've really seen some big jumps here, and that means a busier downtown. And so at the same time, we've seen actually business expansion in our downtown, and new restaurants have opened. We did have some closures. We have had some hardships as well. But overall, I'd say Easton has been sort of exploding with growth. We're also seeing businesses move here, and we're seeing existing businesses expand. So it's been quite the year.
On a personal level, I'm still waiting for a delicatessen to come to town, but that's a different issue.
Me too. I agree. We might get it this year, I think.
I hope so, but that's totally irrelevant.
No, it's relevant.
Well, yes, in some respects. Anyway, so Natalie, tell us about yourself and your vision. Just one comment before you start speaking. One of the things I've noticed is the number of out-of-state license plates that I pass on my way up and down the bypass or into town. New York, Connecticut, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's amazing. Yeah, Virginia. So this is clearly not only are we in a growth area, I guess, but a desirable area, and I understand the desire. I love it here. So. Natalie, go ahead. Tell us your background and your views on all of this.
Well, I started with Easton Economic Development Corporation about 3.5 years ago, and my role has changed. It's evolved into communications manager, and that happened at the same time COVID hit. So it's been a readjustment phase. So basically what we had to do is during COVID, it was a revamp of our communication strategy, just like everyone else, had to revamp how they were communicating the typical ways. And then also, in addition to Easton Economic Development's communication, I've taken on the Town of Easton's communication role as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So I love it. It's been great. And I really want to reach out to more people through different platforms and create more engagement. I just want more community engagement. That's a real goal for me. And most recently, as you know, you're on the chair as our chairperson. We started our communications committee, and that's been going really well. It's exciting to have volunteers from the community on it, as well as you, Peter, a member of our board. And it's we have some great things happening, and that I can't wait to tell the community about.
Sure. I mean, as I said, it's such a dynamic group of people, so visionary, and I've also described it as a group of brave folk who are willing to take steps in directions that may not be familiar or comfortable all the time. And I think that's, you know, every time I sit in one of our meetings, I'm always, and I don't mean to be rabbinic or clergy oriented, but that's who I am. There's a quote from the book of Proverbs that says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish."
Oh, very true.
And every time I'm with you guys and in one of our meetings, I see the wisdom of that text, because there is vision and there is dynamism and creativity, and it makes a difference in the lives of the people with whom we next to whom we live and with whom we interact. And so you guys are to be really commended and credited with doing incredible work. Are there areas that you think where the growth has been most successful in your estimation?
Definitely, the real estate growth is probably economically, you could say, successful, as well as does not appear to be letting up. So in that sense, it depends on, of course, how we describe successful. It's an opportunity, yes, I think. Certainly, we want people to live in town, and so it makes hopefully our developers feel confident in the market, and they will create more housing units. Easton has not had enough housing units created over the past 10 years. You can see that, and as a result, we're insufficient. The other thing that I think is really exciting, actually, is that we have so many existing businesses that are expanding. And to me, that says that we are a community that goes way beyond just a tourism. Tourism economy is very important,
Sure.
But we also want to have businesses that are here, that will be here 30 years from now, that employ many people. And so jobs for our residents. And what we're seeing is expansion of those kinds of jobs that will provide, manufacturing jobs, for example. Afina pharmaceutical company, huge expansion. Claron, an insurance company here. It's really a health expertise company. It's not insurance. And they continue to expand here and create jobs. Chop Tank, go ahead now.
Chop Tank has expanded to Easton as well, and they have many more jobs that need to be filled there.
Yeah,
and it's great.
So
I mean, there are so many jobs that need to be filled. We're looking for the people to fill them.
Yes.
Well, that's an important notion and an important fact for people listening to know. They may know people who are qualified and move people in the right direction to fill these positions. That's good for us across the board on so many different levels. What are the major challenges that you guys see?
Gosh, getting the word out with integrity. There's a lot of misinformation,
Yeah.
and it spreads very quickly. And I think that's true of any community. That's not just this community. So this is where Natalie and the communication committee is becoming central to what the Easton Economic Development does, because we need so many different platforms. The other thing is, it used to be that mostly everybody read the paper. Now, a lot of people actually don't read the paper.
I know.
So, right. So we have a fragmented marketplace, and therefore we need all these different tools in order to reach and provide that essential information. The other thing is, people expect that information instantly. They're not willing. Even my own board members, for example, I love them to death and they care so deeply. I'm going to hear from them almost daily on what's going on. So this is a constant thing, keeping people properly informed.
Yeah, that's a very important point, and it crosses all kinds of lines, whether it's economic development or education or whatever. The accurate and correct information is just imperative, because otherwise you make wrong and bad choices, and and it's biased and destructive, actually.
It really is. It really is.
And how do you see the downtown doing? I know there's been some issues, and I know there were issues last year, I guess. Any thoughts? Any comments that?
Well, as you know, the Easton Economic Development was asked to take on the role in November, and it's been an adjustment. Again, we just talked about communication and how central communication has become, because we saw how, with the breakdown of communication last year, particularly around the promenade concept, led to negative experiences in the community. So now I think that the systems are in place. We're seeing a plan for this summer being put into place, and the town is doing their job in order to make it easier for the businesses to be successful this summer. So all the parties have come to the table. We did hire a position to do the director of downtown position, Jeff Langford. We love Jeff. Jeff is still involved with us, but he did move on very quickly to another position that had better benefits. We respect that and have a position open now that we are really hoping we can make an announcement on really, really soon.
Oh, good.
Yes. So stay tuned, hopefully in the next, maybe in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. And in terms of summer planning, is there anything you want to share specifically?
Yeah, Natalie has.
Yeah, I would love that if you can.
Oh, sure. We are really excited. Summer is going to be great in Easton this year, and it's kicking off May 15th. We have, and I can also share with you the links, Peter, to two of the upcoming events for May 15th. The first one is Community Day.
Yes.
And last year, Community Day was held, I believe it was in November. It took the place of waterfowl. So there were local, local organizations that came together outside, and they had tables and tents set up to, and they'll do the same thing this year on May 15th. So there'll be grab and go, craft kit, different activities for the kids and for the family, and it'll be held at several locations in Easton.
I'll do my best with regard to the weather.
Well, we do have a plan. It's rain or shine.
Okay, good.
We'll be able to take this inside. The organizations will be able to set up inside at the waterfowl building.
Wonderful.
If it rains. So it's going off. And there's going to be music there. There's going to be horse-drawn carriage rides for the also. Yes, and at the same time, Culture Crossing is back. So they weren't able to do it last year because of COVID, but the year before they did it, and it was a Saturday each month. And it's going to be happening at the same time Community Day. So that's closer to the east end of the town, rails to trails.
Yes.
That's going to be great. There's going to be artisans there set up. There's going to be food. There's going to be music and family activities, plein air. Someone from plein air will be there painting the activity. So there's going to be a lot to do in Easton. And of course, our farmers market is already running.
Started.
It's already started. There's music there. So a lot of great things happening in Easton. On May 15th, and it's going to continue. We're going to have music every Saturday downtown.
Wonderful. And I love the farmers market. It's so cool on so many levels, and it's exciting. People say, why do you live in this small town? I said, this is not a small town. There is so much going on. And I don't say that defensively. I say that because they're wrong. As I don't have to tell you, you're part of the intimacy of all this. But this is a dynamic and I think a very inspirational place to live, given all that we have before us and the opportunities we have to take advantage of. How wonderful.
It is.
And you guys are really a part of it. Anything else you think we need to know about at the moment? Music series or anything else that you want to share with us?
I would just say for the businesses that are listening, get ready.
Good.
We're predicting big crowds.
Good.
And so for the folks that want to partake, when you're coming in on the weekends, make your reservations for the restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are going to be expecting record crowds this summer. And beyond that, I would say sign up for our newsletter. It comes out every 2 weeks. You can go to our website, eastonedc.com, and sign up. Natalie handles that. It's a wealth of information in there.
It's really good.
A robust events calendar on our website where people can get in the flow of the communication.
Well, it really is. It's inspirational to see what's going on and to have some insight into how it's happening and who's doing it. And both Tracy, you and Natalie are very much a part of the drive behind it, and we are grateful for your presence and your leadership. As things come up, if you let me know, you'll come back, and you'll be back often, as a matter of fact, because there's so much. But I want us to get this out. I want us to the viewing audience to know who you guys are and what you guys are doing and how it benefits all of us. So for all your hard work and dedication, I say thank you as a citizen who really enjoys the benefits of living here. So keep it up. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we want to say join us, right?
Yes, we are looking
for
we would love to have volunteers.
I'll make
with us.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll make sure Nick puts up the website addresses that we need so people can contact you guys. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your energy, your vision, your creativity, and for all you do to make this the community that it really is. We're fortunate and blessed to have you both in leadership positions. And and you will be back often.
Okay.
Thank you.
We look forward to it.
Me too. We've been talking to Natalie Slater and Tracy Ward from the Easton Economic Development Corporation. They are leaders in that institution as well as leaders in the community, and we are blessed by their presence. And Easton, stay safe, get vaccinated, be well, and we will see you next time on the Rabbi's Roundtable.